Hey grade sevens, I hope you guys had an amazing long weekend and you had some kind of fun times. Hopefully you got to enjoy the one nice day of weather that we did have. And hopefully you'll be able to enjoy some nice later weather that we're supposed to have later this week. So today we are actually going to be starting up a new unit. So we were doing geometry with nets and shapes and trying to kind of figure out trying to distinguish different nets of prisms and shapes, and we're talking about edges and vertices and things like that. So for example, if we have a cube, to figure out the number of edges, vertices, and faces, well, a cube, think about a cube as a dice. How many numbers are on a dice? There's 6. And to figure out vertices and things like that, to figure out vertices and edges, we have to look at the base. So the base of a cube is a square. Okay, that's our square. To figure out the number of edges is we take this number, 4 sides, so 4 sides to a square, and we multiply it by 3. That gives us the number of edges on a prism. To figure out vertices, I take this number, 4, number of sides on the base, and I multiply it by 2, and that will give me the number of vertices, or the corners. So in this case, I took 4 times 3. That means there are 12 edges on a cube. 4 times 2 means that there are 8 vertices on a cube. And we know there's 6 faces because I take the number of the base and I add 2 to get the number of faces. And that's all there is for that. So right now we're going into our new unit, which is algebra. So today we're going to be starting out with pretty simple things in algebra where you're going to be balancing equations that have blanks in them. So for example, I have something plus 13 is equal to, let's say, 7 plus 14. So what we're trying to do in this problem is we're trying to figure out what is in this blank spot. To do that, I can't just automatically be like, oh, something plus 13 equals 7 plus 14. That doesn't make any sense. So what I have to do is look at the side of the equal sign where it has no blanks. So this side right here, it doesn't have any blanks at all. What we need to do is we need to solve this side of the equal sign, figure out what that number is, so we can figure out what that blank number is. So to figure this out, I need to do 7 plus 14. 7 plus 14 gives me 21. So now I have blank plus 13 equals 21. Now this is a lot easier to solve. So this is how like our work for algebra and everything is going to go on today, is you're going to have an equal sign in the middle and a problem on each side. What you need to do is need to solve the side of the problem that has the no numbers, as in there's no blanks. You solve that side, and then the other side, you need to figure out what fits in that blank spot. Now to figure out what fits in this blank spot, we have to do something called the opposite operation. The opposite operation is, what's the opposite of addition? So addition is adding things to a number to make it bigger. What's the opposite of that? Is making it smaller. So subtraction. So we need to do the opposite operation, which in this case is subtraction. To do subtraction, I'm going to keep this 21. Whoops. I'm going to keep the 21 in the same spot. So I'm just moving this problem down here. What I do though is I take this 13 and then I bring it over to this side of the equal sign. So I'm moving it over to another side of the equal sign. What happens when you move a number from one side of the equal sign to another, it becomes the opposite. You have to do the opposite operation. So instead of doing 21 plus 13, I have to do 21 minus 13. So that's where the opposite operation comes into play. So now I have left is a blank. So 21 minus 13 equals something. This looks like a problem that's a lot easier to solve now. So if I do 21 minus 13, that gives me 8. So that means this blank is equal to 8, as in, if I take my original problem here, and if I put 8 in place, actually let's put that in a different color, so it's a little easier. If I put 8 in here, 8 plus 13 should equal the same number as 7 plus 14. To check my work, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do 8 plus 13. So I do 8 plus 13, so I do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now on this side of the equal sign, I do the same thing. I do 7 plus 14. So 7 or 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So this is how I know that I've gotten the correct answer and I've done the right process, because 21 is equal to 21. I have the same number. If one of these numbers was different, I know I did something wrong or I went wrong somewhere. So here we're going to try another problem. This time we're going to try subtraction. So I'm going to do 18 minus 6 is equal to 19 minus blank. How can I figure this out? Well, first of all, I need to figure out this side of the equal sign, because I can't figure out 19 minus blank. I don't know what blank is. But I do know I can figure out what 18 minus 6 is. So I do 18 minus 6, which gives me 12. That means 12 is equal to 19 minus something. How can I figure that out? What I'm doing now is I'm going to keep the blank on this side of the equal sign, so it stays on the right side. I need to move this over here. But here's the thing though. If I did 19 plus 12, because I'm doing the opposite operation, would it work? Because then all of a sudden, I know this side, it has to be equal to 12. 12 plus 19, that would be a number that's bigger than 12. So this is where you have to kind of look at your numbers and kind of judge. If I'm going to end up having a bigger number than what I know it has to equal, so I know it has to equal 12 on both sides, 19 plus 12 is obviously going to be a bigger number than 12. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to keep it 19 minus. So this is where you have to kind of judge a little bit. Because if I do 19 minus 12, this gives me 7. 7 is therefore equal to the blank number. So if I put 7 in here, well, let's figure out if I am correct. 18 minus 6 is 12. 19 minus 7 is 12. It works. So we're right. We're going to do one more problem, and then you guys are going to be good to go. So let's do all right, so this is another addition one. 18 plus blank is equal to 32 plus 9. How do we figure this out? Well, first of all, I need to solve the side of the equal sign that has the no numbers, because I can't do this side. I have to do the side that has no numbers. So I am doing 32 plus 9. 32 plus 9, that gives me 41. So that means 18 plus something is equal to 41. how do I figure out what that is? Well, what I do is I'm going to move this 18 over to this side of the equal sign. However, I can't do 18 plus 41. That's going to be way too big of a number because it has to be equivalent to 41, right? 41 is my answer. So what I'm doing this time is I'm doing minus. So I am doing the opposite this time. So I do 41 minus 18, and that will give me what the blank is worth. 41 minus 18 is equal to whatever that blank number is. That blank is 23. So if I do 18 plus 23, it needs to equal the same as 32 plus 9. So 32 plus 9 we know is 41. 18 plus 23, so we're going to check 23 plus 18 or 18 plus 23 is equal to 41. So we're good. So that's what you're going to be working on today. Is you're going to have a bunch of questions that are going to look exactly like this. They're going to be one side that has no numbers and one side that has a blank, and you need to figure out what that blank is. And then that's going to be your thing for Wednesday, and Friday we're going to moving on to our next step. But for now, that's what we're working on. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to email me. And also, make sure to enjoy some of the nice weather that we're going to have this week. Hopefully you can get outside and enjoy some sunshine. I know I got to go out on my patio the other day, and it was really nice. And it definitely made me feel a lot better. So maybe that can be a goal for yourself, just to get some sunshine and some vitamin D. Otherwise, have a fantastic Wednesday, and I will see you on Friday.